Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, I think it's Nacogdoches,
We just say NEDCO here.
okay. It's the Economic Development Corporation for allowing me the opportunity to come out and speak to you all today. I know we have about an hour and a half, but I think we have some time this morning. I want to just go around and, have everyone introduce themselves and then what professional you're in or what business or company you have. Can I start up here with you at the front?
Wendy Baker, and we have a farm here.
Oh, I love to hear that. Oh, I can just imagine. You two ladies, can I go with you? Your name?
Stephanie Ellsworth, Farmer State Bank.
Okay.
Janet Melendez, Unlimited Designs.
Okay, let me put signs. You two ladies.
Young Jones, I'm with Stephen at Boston State University Procurement Department.
Okay.
Lacey Bradshaw, I'm the hub coordinator for Stephen at Boston State University.
Okay, I'm gonna go right behind.
Laura Cooper, Connections Counseling and Psychology.
Perfect. And then you two ladies.
Pam Fitch, Jack Hackers College Bookstore.
Okay.
Lisa Bryant, Spirit Outfitters.
Okay.
Mary Nottingham, County Woods Apartment Association, one of your sponsors.
Oh, thank you for being here. You now?
Trisha Wheeler, I'm client growth at Small Town Socials.
Okay. And then you, sir?
Tyrone Crowe, UC Marketing Group.
Okay.
Patrick Castillo, Southern Crowe.
Yes, sir.
Mary Frances Bradford, Nedco.
I'm Christy McClellan, I'm associated with a local funeral home and National Real Estate Consultant.
Okay, perfect.
I'm Tanya Dora with the Texas Forest Country Partnership. And this is my husband, John, he's just here for support today.
You two in the back?
I'm Wayne Mitchell, and this is my date, Bonnie Mitchell.
Thank you. Thank you all for being here. Again, my name is Mariah Thompson Carter. I am the statewide hub marketing coordinator, so I love to go around to different events or even come into your hometown city to come around to tell you about the statewide hub program and the benefits of it, and then if you're eligible, just everything you need to know to do business with the state and in higher education. So let me go over. So I've been in this position since July, and the first thing I get when I talk to people is, I have my hub certification, what do I do next? Or what's the benefits of the hub certification? Or what's the difference from the hub certification from the hub zone or the SBE or the DBE certification? So first, I like to say that please note, hub and hub zone are two different certifications. We get that a lot. Hub zone is for federal projects. When you think of the hub certification, the hub statewide hub program, it's for state projects only for the state of Texas, and that's for state agencies and for the institutions of higher education. And again, today what I'm going to give to you all, again, like we said before, we're going to tell you what the statewide hub program is. We'll talk about the hub certification and the compliance behind that certification to keep that certification. We'll talk about some bidder resources, the centralized master bidders list, the electronic state business daily, and then also we'll end it with a Q&A. But if you have a question throughout these slides, feel free to ask. I think we have enough time where you can ask questions and we can continue on the presentation. Okay, so the statewide hub program. The statewide hub program, which is the historically underutilized business hub program, is a component of the statewide procurement division of the Comptroller of Public Accounts. Now, do everyone know who the Comptroller of Public Accounts is? Do you know who you're paying your franchise taxes and sales use tax with? Can I get a name? You know who the name of the Comptroller of Texas is? There you go. Yeah, so Glenn Hager is my boss. Glenn Hager, besides the many hats that he holds on his head, besides the taxes, when we say Glenn Hager, everybody gets scared and like, oh, I think I owe some taxes. But besides the taxes, he also is the authority of the statewide procurement division. And within that division, basically, he is the one who sets the rules and procurement rules within the state of Texas for the state agencies and universities. Again, you have contract managers that develop contracts and statewide contracts. You have a team that teaches these the agencies, the purchasers, how to follow those rules. Then you have have our team with the statewide hub program that's on the vendor side of things to tell you how to do business with the state, what these rules are, what the guidelines are to work with the state of Texas with those purchasers and contract managers. Okay, so the Texas Government Code 2161 establishes the hub program and authorizes the CPA to administer the statewide hub program. So again, within that government code, you'll see all the rules that the comptroller has for the statewide hub program, and then you also have the CPA statewide hub program that establishes rules to administer the agency programs. So again, those codes, which is the Tax Administrative Code, Title 34, Chapter 20, Subchapter D, Division 1, Section 20.281 to 20.298, which we call 34 Tax 20. Those are the rules that we set for our state agencies within that statewide hub program. So if it's anything within the subcontracting, mentor protege, the different things that I'm going to talk about today, if you need more details about what these state agencies are following, you can refer back to these TAC codes to learn about those things. And if you have any questions about what the comptroller set for the statewide hub program, you can go to the Texas Government Code 2161 to know those rules as well. And I also would like to know, the state of Texas did a disparity study back in 2009, which determined that there were still disparate groups in the state's procurement process, which identified the disadvantaged owner groups in the establishment of the current statewide hub procurement goals. And we'll talk more about that throughout this presentation. Okay, so the statewide hub utilization goals, again, this is what we're talking about, this is what we were able to establish. We were able to identify 11.2% was heavy construction, infrastructure projects. 21.1% was building constructions, which was building either new or renovation and maintenance projects. 32.9% was special trades, which is construction contracts at community colleges or trade schools. You have 23.7%, which is professional services, special training or professional degrees. You have 26% for other services, like general services for consulting, trainers, documentations, and then 21.1% commodities, general goods. Let's just note that state agencies and institutions of higher education make a good faith effort to meet or exceed these goals through direct contact with hubs, either through prime contracts or through hub subcontracting opportunities, which you can find through that TAC government code that we spoke about earlier today. And then I also like to note, each year, our state agencies do a semi-annual and an annual report where they basically give us their expenditure reports, and we have this information out there for you. It shows each state agency that has a hub program, if they're using their funds for non-hubs or towards hubs themselves on those procurements. The percentages, the amount, it has all that information within the semi-annual and annual report. So if you want to find out more details about a particular state agency you want to do business with and what services and commodities they're using hub for, you can reference back to that semi-annual and annual report, which is on the statewide hub website, which we'll talk about later on today. But just a note that information is out there for public records for you. Okay, so the policy and purpose of the statewide hub program. Again, that would be 34 TAC 20.281, where it's the policy of the comptroller to encourage the use of hubs in the state procurement process through race, ethnic, and gender neutral means. The purpose of the hub program is to promote good faith effort, business opportunities for all businesses in state procurement and contracting. And that's according to that 34 TAC 20.284. So again, you can go back to our rules and you can find that information. Okay, so I like this little this slide, because this is basically of how our department looks, how the hub program looks. So of course you have the Texas Comptroller of Public Accounts up there at the top. He's over the big umbrella, which is the statewide hub program. So underneath the statewide hub program, you have 4 departments. You have the hub certification. So we have a team that does the certification where you go in, you apply, they review the application, and then they approve you for your hub certification, put you in the system. They do all that that for you. Then you have the hub compliance. Now, we do have a hub compliance team that goes out, do one-on-one, do audits. Make sure you said who you say you are so you can keep your hub certification. Then you have reporting and then the statewide expenditure team. So again, like I was stating today, we work with our state agencies and universities to make sure that they're reporting to us and they're in compliance when it comes to the hub reporting, the expenditure, the funds, the different things like that. So they report to us and then we create that semi-annual and annual report for you to view each year. Then you have the education and outreach to hubs and agencies. So you have me, my department, where I go around, I work with our hubs to know how to do business with the state, give them the information. Then we also do training with our state agencies and universities. We just had a training on Friday where we got together with all the state agencies and we talked about the different best practices. So everyone who doesn't know if the state agency, maybe hub coordinators new, they're getting the information they need to help you when you come to them to help get you to those purchasers and contract managers and then the reportings and different things like that. Subcontracting opportunities. We help them. We try to make a community out of it where we can talk to each other to help each other. So that's what we do. And then again, when it comes to what goes underneath is the agencies and universities' internal hub programs. So agencies and universities, they know that for you, if you were to go to them, that the statewide hub program is the one who does all these 4 departments, and then they follow the rules. Okay, so let's talk about the state agencies and universities' internal hub program. So every agency with a biannual budget that exceeds $10 million will, one, they will designate a person, a full-time staff member, to serve as a hub coordinator. Then 2, they must host at least one hub forum or networking event per fiscal year. So that's very good to know. I know that right now we have over 175 state agencies and universities that have a hub coordinator. And we'll actually show you throughout this presentation how to get that contact information. So if you're wanting to work with a particular state agency, you have their information to reach out to them, to connect with them. That's what we want you to do. They're your liaison for that state agency. They're the ones who's talking to those purchasers and contract managers. They're the ones in those meetings when it comes to what project and procurements are coming up. So when you're contacting them, they can give you a little bit of information to say, yes, we have a project coming up, or thank you, you know something, we might have something coming up soon, or maybe next year that we can keep your information and maybe contact you when that opportunity comes up. And we'll talk about the thresholds as well. So they do have different thresholds where they can contact us, but we'll talk about that later on in this presentation. And then the forums, the event for networking, those are opportunities for you to go to those state agencies, talk to those hub coordinators, those purchase and contract managers in person, connect with them, network with them, market yourself, and build that relationship with them. Most of the time when you hear me talk about state agencies and universities, you're going to hear me talk about networking, marketing, and building a connection and networking with them and building that relationship with them. You hear me say that a lot. And then also for the events, it's really good to go to those, and you also can meet prime contractors for like subcontracting opportunities. So if there is a big project coming up, you're able to meet those primes, let them know what you do, and then when it is a subcontracting opportunity, you're able to be a part of that subcontracting award and be able to get a little percent of that contract. All right. So it says hub coordinators are required to guide and prepare hubs for their agency's procurement process and match hubs with key procurement and division staffs within the agency to build relationships. Again, building that relationship with that agency. Then it says the internal hub programs do not require an additional certification. Their purpose is to support and guide hub businesses to be ready, capable, and able to compete in their agency's good faith effort process. And basically, that's everything I just told you. That's why we do the training, to make sure that they're contacting you, they're helping you, and then they're also going through the good faith effort to make sure that they're working with those hubs. All right, so the hub certification qualifications. So the groups that we have are the Asian Americans, Black American, Hispanic American, Native Americans, American women, and then also service disabled veteran as defined by 38 USC Section 101-2 with at least a 20% disabled. And then again, these are all the groups that qualify to get their HUB certification. Yes, sir.
On the slide prior that you were referencing, agencies, HUB, reach out, contact. So let's just say my business is registered as a HUB, and I'm on the Central Masters bidders list, identifies as a HUB. And let's say the UT Health System is doing something and they need a marketing campaign. I may not personally know the HUB coordinator there, because maybe through this I would find out that it is. But the due diligence for that HUB coordinator to potentially seek out HUBs to contact, does that take place on their end, or is it waiting for me to find out who that person is to get something in front of them so they'll know I'm a HUB certified? Or can they get that from the CMBL?
Okay, so it's both. So one, the CMBL, they will find you by the NIGP code. So when you are creating your CMBL profile and get your HUB certification, you do want to select all the NIGP code that applies to your business description, and we'll talk about that later on in here. That's how they find you to send you those RFQs, RFPs, those bid opportunities on the CMBL to send you that information. Now, if you market yourself to those HUB coordinators, now they know that you're able to provide those services. And we also tell our HUB vendors to create a capability statement. Put your information out there, personalizing it to that state agency and their needs that they can use for your services, and then also adding those NIGP codes so they know exactly what NIGP codes by the services and commodities they can provide. So you can do both. If you're on the CMBL, NIGP codes is how they find you. Highway districts as well sometimes, depending on the area. And then again, when you're connecting with those HUB coordinators, maybe creating a capability statement and sending it to them. And then not only just sending it to them, because we get a lot of different HUB vendors that send out their capability statement to all the state agencies. Like I said, personalize it for that state agency and university. Look them up. Do you know exactly what that UT Systems medical branch, do you know what they do? Do you know the departments within them? Do you know what they're procuring? You know, and then looking at what services your company provides. And like I said, personalizing it for that state agency and university. So now when you're contacting them and trying to build that relationship with them, you have some information to back you up. You know exactly what they're needing. You're able to talk to them about that, and then you're able to ask questions. Maybe you're wanting to know if there's other NIGP codes. You can ask them that. They know exactly what the NIGP codes are that they're procuring, so they can look it up and tell you, well, hey, you know, I noticed you have, this is your services. We usually use this NIGP code. Now that's another NIGP code you can add. You can ask them about maybe having a meet and greet. So if they have time, if they're available, maybe they can have you have a meet and greet with those purchasers and that contract manager if they're needing your services. So that's like an entryway. So again, the HUB coordinators, they're your liaison. They're the ones that's going to help you and guide you to how to do business with them.
So at some point throughout this process, will we actually see where we can go to find out who those liaisons are located?
Yes, yes. I'm going to go through that. I'm just going to go through that in the presentation as well. Yes.
I don't know if this is the appropriate time to comment, but we're tasked with trying to solicit 50% HUB anytime we do any kind of bid. And so one thing I just want to point out, and I'm sure the state of Texas knows this, that so many of the people that sign up to be on the CMBL, they check every box that they offer everything. I take the time to go in and look, and then you see their business has nothing to do with what you're looking for. And we have a girl in our office that used to work for Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and I think that's where we different. Like they have to, any bid they send it out to every single HUB. Whereas us, I'm gonna go hunt and peck. I'm gonna try to find someone in Nacogdoches or Tyler, Lufkin. I'm gonna look as close by as I can. Because realistically, some of the things we're soliciting, someone from Austin or El Paso is not gonna come to Nacogdoches. But just to answer his question, we do, the CMBL is a good thing to be in, because a lot of times we don't know about you. we only know what we know. The other thing I was gonna say, is that a lot of times we have vendors, they go, well, I'm on the CMBL, and they think they're ahead. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So there's not always a good understanding. That we have people call all the time, oh, well, we're on the CMBL, we're ahead, and I'm like, there's a big
Just not
difference.
certified. Yeah, so there is a difference
Yeah.
in between. Yes. Okay.
Last question, I know we got to move forward. So I've actually encountered over my 2.5-year, 10-year running a marketing firm, that I've seen some state agencies potentially award or start a marketing campaign. At some point, when I see this launch, obviously it's after the fact, and I'm contacting that company, knowing that I'm a hub, knowing that I'm on the CMBL, I would not know that they were actually in the process of seeking an opportunity to do an RFP, whatever the case is. I'll find out that, oh, that went out, it went out 6 months ago, which is kind of realistic of a more recent deal. And I'm thinking, so, one, I never got notification. Two, obviously, it's just random, picking the business out and saying, oh, they're about to do some marketing. So then I miss the window until it comes back around in 2 or 3 years again. So what's the accountability standpoint to make sure that potentially hubs are notified, especially because what is it, NIG? Anything dealing with marketing, talked about it, I've got that filled out. So for me not to be contacted for that when I was thinking, so who holds them accountable and make sure they reach out saying, hey, here's an opportunity that you might need to know about. How does that work?
Okay, so there is thresholds. So now I'll show you that as well. So it depends on how much that procurement is, that there are thresholds of how many hubs they have to contact and different things like that. So depending on how much that marketing campaign is when they're doing that procurement, then that determines how many people they're reaching out to. And we'll talk about that, and then we'll also talk about the ESBD and the CMBL and how that differs. But what she was stating is, okay, they do look at highway districts. So when they are reaching out to people, they are looking at highway districts. They're not selecting all the highway districts. They're only selecting highway districts within the Natchitoches, Lufkin area, Tyler area. So there is different highway districts and that they look at. And then she's also talking about the NIGP codes. When they're looking at your profile, that they're looking at your business description and making sure your NIGP codes match your business description. So that's one of the biggest things with our state agencies. That's what they look at. You're saying, okay, you do landscaping, but then you have NIGP codes for painting and different commodities, but you're saying you do landscaping. So how does all that fit? We're trying to procure someone who does landscaping. So matching your business description with your NIGP codes. And we'll talk more about that later on, because everything that we're discussing right now, we're going to have a slide for it as well. So, is it okay? Okay, perfect. All right, so we talked about the different groups. Now let's talk about the certification qualifications. So each of those groups, you have to be qualified. So the owner must be a U.S. citizen, so accept the qualified service disabled veterans. So we do not let people who have a green card, unfortunately, they will not qualify. You have to be a Texas resident of Texas for at least 1 year. So I get a lot of phone calls. People live in New Mexico or Arizona, but their business is in the borderline of Texas. If you do not have a Texas resident ID, you have not have a Texas resident address for at least a year, you would not qualify. Even though your business is in Texas, your company would not qualify. You must maintain active participation in control, operation, and management entities. And then the applicant must be at least 51, owned by that minority, woman-owned, or service-disabled veteran. Your business must be primarily based in Texas, and then you must meet the Small Business Administration SBA size standards. So with the size standards, I know with our team, we look at your tax forms, federal tax forms. There's a code on the form where it determines if we are looking at your gross amount or your, I think it's how many people you employ. That's what it's based off when we look at the meet the Small Business Administration size standards. And Cassandra, you might have more information about that. That might be more of your direction, right? Okay, perfect. Okay, now let's talk about the 2 paths of hub certifications. Now we have 11 organizations that have a memorandum of agreement with us, which we call our MOAs of organizations. Okay, So these organizations are certification partner organizations. MOAs are organizations that certify small businesses as SBEs, which is small business enterprises, DBEs, diversity business enterprises, MBEs, which is minority business enterprises, and then WBE, which is the women business enterprises. And then with that, you can get the additional hub certification as well with them. The hub certification to MOAs are valid for as long as the hub remains certified and in good standing with that MOA. And then MOAs have their own application process. And then these are all the MOAs that we have right here, which is to my right, but could be to your left. So closer to your area, you have the Houston Minority Supplier Development Council. You might have the Tri-County Regional Black Chamber of Commerce, and then you also have the Golden Triangle Minority Business Council, which is, I think, Beaumont and Houston area. Oh, you also have the City of Houston. That can also get you hub certified as well. You can go through our office, of course, but let's say, for instance, right now with the Comptroller's office, the application process is 10 to 12 weeks just to be viewed and assigned to a certification analyst. And then from there, you have 90 days for your approval. And then that 90 days starts once the application is completed, meaning you submitted all the information, all the documents, you signed it, everything is completed on our end. Let's say if we have to reach out to you and say, hey, we need this documentation first, then that means that your application is not completed. But with our MOAs, they can do it maybe quicker because they're not submitting, getting as many applications. Their processing time might be a lot quicker. And then, only thing about our MOAs, their certification expiration date could be only maybe a year or 2 years or 6 months. So with the statewide hub program, our certification is good for 4 years, where theirs might be different. It could be good for a year or 2 years. And then once you get your certification with our MOA, you have to renew your certification with them. They receive all your, they keep all your documentation, your paperwork, different things like that. We do not have access to it. We just have access to the information to know you are an active hub vendor. And our state agencies and universities have that information. Their system reports to our system, so we know. But let's say, for instance, if you did get hub certified with one of our MOAs and you have questions, you can still contact us and we can help you with that. We can tell you everything we need to tell you to work with our state agencies and universities. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have like a direct contact and phone number for an individual in each of these entities?
So on our website, I'm going to show you shortly, there is a way that you can get all that information. We have their websites and different things on our website where you can go and get a contact information. Yes, ma'am.
If your initial certification is through an MOA, and then after that 1 year period, do you have to recertify through that MOA, or can you go directly through the state and go to the 4 year period?
So you will have to get renewed with them, but let's say, for instance, you want to go through us, you can eventually go through us. You just will have to basically contact that MOA and tell them to void the certification, because you can't have two of the same certification. You only can have one.
You can't roll into the other.
You cannot roll. We have a lot of people who have this issue, so let me tell you, we have someone who will get hub certified with us that's good for 4 years. They don't know that the certification with our MOAs is the same one, and they get hub certified with them. Once their system talks to our system, it voids our certification that was good for 4 years, and now you only have that certification with our MOA that was probably good for a year or two. So we have people who said, well, I'm certified with the Comptroller's office too. No, once you got that new certification with our MOA, the one with the Comptroller's office got voided. It's no longer good. You can only have one hub certification at a time. So it's always good to just, if you're working with one of our MOAs, have them verify. Say, can we verify before I do my hub certification that I don't have one already with the Comptroller's office? Or let's say, if you want to do one with them, let them know, okay, once my renewal period comes up, I want to renew with the Comptroller's office, where you'll have to come to the Comptroller's office and complete a brand new application. It won't be a renewal. So when you do it, you're doing a renewal with the MOA, but with the Comptroller's office, you'll have to complete a whole new application where you're submitting all that paperwork over again with us. Because again, we don't have that information. Only the MOA has it. It's for their records.
So they're shorter but faster.
But we are recommending it right now because I know one of our MOAs, I think it's the El Paso Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. Right now, their processing time is like 2 to 4 weeks. You know, and I think their certification sometimes is good up to 4 years as well. So again, it just depends who you go through, but it might get it processed a lot quicker, especially if you're wanting to work with a state agency and you know that their procurement is coming up where they're wanting to work with hubs, and you have to hurry up and get that hub certification. So again, we don't want to be selfish. We're giving our MOAs some time where they can process it as well. Alrighty. Okay, so again, with the Comptroller's Office, with the Statewide Hub Program, again, the application is free with us. It's good for 4 years. You have that hub directory listing where we give you the contacts for all the hub coordinators. We give you a free recertification, which begins 4 months prior to your expiration date. So you'll get an email stating that it's time for your renewal. So you can go in and start submitting your application, your renewal application. It's really good to start once you get that email, because like I said, processing time right now is 10 to 12 weeks. We don't know how it's going to look. We just get so many applications in, and then how it's looking right now is going to continue like that for the next upcoming years. Everyone wants to get hub certified. And then you get free assistance and support with our team. So let's say, for instance, you're submitting your application, you have questions about the documentation or a step. You can contact our team, and we're more than welcome to help you, assist you with what documentation you can submit. I know we get a lot of questions about like the meeting minutes and the ledgers. Our team is there to guide you and let you know exactly what you can submit. We can't tell you exactly how it can look, but we can give you some guidance of what you can submit. Okay, so our certification portal, so the Statewide Hub certification is a system called TexasHub.GOB2G, so it's GoB2G.com. This is basically how it is. This is where you'll go in, and if you want to apply with the Comptroller's Office, it's online. We went paperless, I think, back in 2019, where you can go in and you can apply. So 2 things that I would suggest doing before you apply for renewal certification. First, I would want you to do an account lookup. What happens a lot of the time is our old system, it basically generated all the older expired hub vendors into our system already. So even though you don't think that you already have an account, you probably have an account. And then the CMBL, if you ever applied for the CMBL before, within the past 20 to 30 years, it's been open and going. That system talks to the system as well. So we always recommend doing an account lookup first, and I think from there you can put in your federal EIN number to look up your account to see if you ever had an account before. If you have had an account before, we always suggest to, of course you don't know your password, but do a forget password to get your password quicker than going in and contacting someone and trying to get them to get you a password. Just do a forgot password, and that's how you'll be able to log in. And then when you do the apply for renew for certification, you click on that. You also have the option to either create a profile, log in, or look up your account. So when you do click on that, make sure, depending on if you're needing to log in, once you receive your account information and your password, when you click in that, just do the login. You don't have to look up your account. You already did that, and you don't need to create an account because you already have an account. So what happens a lot of the time, if you create an account and you put in the company's information, it's going to say it's a duplicate profile. That is already a company associated with that EIN number that has an account with the system. So I just want to point those things out. Then you also have where, let's say for instance, if there's some events going on, you can click on the outreach where if we're sponsoring any events, we always put those events on there where it says the outreach. You get some system training. So just to point out, the B2G system is not only for hub certification. Our MOAs use the system as well for the hub certifications, but the other certifications as well. So the SBE, the MBEs, the DBEs. When you go through our MOAs, when you sign into the system, you'll have access to all those certifications in one system. And then you also have some training. So if you need to learn, like I said, learn the system. If you want to get your SBE, in DBE, you can go into the system. I think you can apply as well through the different systems. Okay. So with our online certification system process, this is how it looks. The vendors complete the application and upload the supporting documents. Once you, complete your application, the system allows for submissions. There's a 10 to 12 week waiting period. Like I said, there is a waiting period for your application to be viewed and to be assigned to a certification analyst. Once they viewed it, it gets assigned, then they'll start working on, looking at those documentations to approve you or deny you of your certification. Again, spoke about that 90 days. Then you have the certified vendors can enter their profile and print their hub certifications through our system. Then you have all communication and actions are made through our system. So again, if you're needing to upload a document, or if they're needing something updated, they're gonna send you an email through the system, and then you can communicate with them through the system as well. The compliance audits are reviewed and completed online. So if we have any questions about your certifications, we're gonna go through the system, we're gonna make some notes in there. And then we also are doing virtual and on-site visits, have Zoom. So like I said, if they need, say for instance, depending on what you're submitting, if you have your hub certifications and some questions, red flags pop up, they'll go to your office and set a meeting with you for a compliance review. And then the certifications are free and valid for 4 years within the comptroller's office. Okay. And then I also would like to point out, we also have a new logo. So let's say for instance you are hub certified, you can now download this logo for free. It says certified vendor, the hub logo. You can put it on your business card, you can put it on your website, you can put it on your capability statement, however you want to market yourself to let our state agencies and universities know that you are hub certified. So like I said, those capability statements, if you want our state agencies to know, that's a really good tool you can use for your marketing. And you can get that through our website, which is called texasforhub.org. You'll usually see it under the resources tab where it says download the hub logo. Our logo, it looks different now compared to the one that you'll see on my marketing tools, on my banner, and on my tablecloth. This is something that we created for the hub vendors. The hub logo that we had previously, this is the state of Texas logo, and it has copyrights. So we have to create something for our vendors because a lot of our vendors are using that, and that is the state copyrighted logo. So that's why we have to create something for the vendor community. All right, so now we're talking about the hub website, how to find it. So again, we have the Texas for Hub website that you can type in to find our website, or you can find our website through the comptroller.texas.gov website. Underneath the purchasing tab, underneath vendor resources, you'll see the historically underutilized business hub. That's where you can find our official website. And then this is usually how our website looks. So again, I'm going to point out a few different things. The first thing I want to point out is the hub coordinators contact list. And with the contact list, like I said, there's more than 175 state agencies and universities that you can contact. So if you want to do business with Health and Human Services, you can find their contact. The General Ed Office, the Department of Transportation, all those hub coordinators and agencies will be listed on here. If you're looking for a particular state agency and their information is not on here, chances is they don't have a hub program as of yet. They're not big enough for that. But most all state agencies are on here. I do want to point out, if you're wanting to do business with TxDOT, this is the Texas Department of Transportation, they actually take the DBE certification most of the time. It's good to have both. But for the state of Texas, TxDOT, they use the DBE certification. They're the only one. Yes, sir.
So with TxDOT comes the My Plates franchise, is that correct?
I'm sorry.
My Plates, the license plate through TxDOT, is that correct?
I think that's the Department of Transportation. Hold on, what did I say? Is the vehicles, there you go.
Department, okay, so if I wanted to find out when the next RFP is coming up for it, I would not use this, or would I go to DMV to find out who the contact is and so forth?
No, well, they'll probably have a hub coordinator you can contact on here.
Okay.
So you can look at that list. Like I said, the list is an Excel sheet. I think when I looked at it last time, it was like 300 and something contacts. So it's not just one contact for each state agency. There's usually multiple state agency contacts. So you can get a hub coordinator, you probably can get a purchaser, a contract manager, a director for the state agency. It just depends depending on what that state agency and how big their hub program is.
Okay.
But yes, sorry.
Can I say something here? I was just gonna tell him,
times. But I did forget about that when searching for that next RFP for the marketplace program.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that more here too, about the ESBD. It's good to, when you're looking at the ESBD, to click on the solicitation bids, and we'll talk about that later as well. But you can find that information on here as well. So we were just talking about the hub coordinator list, like I said, it's an Excel sheet. It gives you all the state agencies and the contact people, gives you their phone number, their email address, where they're located, the addresses to where they're located, the agency number. So if you need to do any research on them, or even if you're going to the ESBD and you're wanting to find them, you can use their agency number or their state agency drop down. We'll talk more about that as well. But it just gives you more information on those particular state agencies. Then you have the sponsor event pages. So we'll talk about the sponsor events and the calendar events in the next few slides. But then again, like I was talking about earlier today, on this, on the left side, okay, over here, you have a lot of the different resources. You have the certification process, if you need information about that, the TAC codes, the government code, the hub reports, like I was stating, the semi-annual or annual reports, if you want to find information on that. The hub coordinator and the MOA list. So when you click on the hub coordinator, it's going to take you to a different page where it's going to show you those MOA's contacts as well. I think you asked about that. So where it says hub coordinators and MOA list, if you click on it, if you go down, it'll have all the MOAs listed, and then you can click on each one. It takes you to their website, and then you'll be able to navigate to find out who you can contact. I think it even gives you email addresses too, who you can contact as well for those MOAs. Then you have the hub mentor protege information, the portal, the ESBD, the search for vendors. We'll talk about search for CMBL hub vendors later on. We'll talk about how to register for the CMBL, how to modify the CMBL profile, hub profile, and our GP codes. We'll talk about that later. And then the delivery zone and the districts, which is the highway districts, and we'll talk about later on as well. But everything that we're talking about through this presentation, if you go to our website, all that information, those pages can be found right here on that side. So next we'll talk about the events. So anytime the statewide hub, my program, is sponsoring events and having events, you can go to this page and you'll be able to find those events so you can register for them. So again, we had an event last month with the Houston Minority Supply Development Council in Houston, Texas. Say for instance you wanted to attend that, you can go here. You can find it and you can register for it and get more details. So again, these are sponsored events. So not all state agency events are going to be on here. Again, it's just events that we sponsor and co-sponsor. Now let's say for instance you want to see what UT Systems or Stephen F. Austin are having, if they're going to have any events, or if they do have events, if they're going to post the events, they're going to post the events on the calendar of events page, our EOF calendar, where it's going to have all that information for 5 months. So not only are state agencies and universities posting their events and their workshops and webinars on this, we also have different organizations. So either our MOAs, development centers, any economic opportunity organization out there, if they're wanting to do something for small businesses, disadvantaged businesses, they're going to post those events here. So you'll have your opportunity to go in, view it, and then attend those events to help your business, to network, market, connect with these people, or even maybe help grow your business as well. All right, next we're going to talk about the Electronic State Business Daily. So the Electronic State Business Daily is where the bid postings are. So I do want to state that the Electronic State Business Daily is not on the comptroller's website. When you get on that, it's going to take you to a website called txsmartbuy.com, and you'll see it's going to say bid opportunities. Now I'll say that again, it's txsmart, S-M-A-R-T, buy.com. So it's the bid postings or bid opportunities. You'll see it on that home page. You'll see bid postings up there in that on that bar. Just click on bid postings. It's going to take you straight to this. So again, not only state agencies and universities post their bid opportunities on Electronic State Business Daily, but also local government. So cities, counties, school districts, colleges, any local government that has a membership with the Comptroller's Office through the Texas Smart Buy Membership Program, they have the opportunity to go in and post their bid opportunities for a broader awareness. So other people, these vendor communities can see it and submit their bid opportunities on here. So again, it's a procurement posting site. Purchasers, again, state agencies and some universities Purchases must post procurement opportunities over 25,000 on the ESPD for general public to search. And we'll talk about those thresholds soon, where you'll understand what that 25,000 means. ESPD searches by entities, NIGP codes, and wording. So when you're using this search, what you want to do, you want to make sure you're not putting things in every box. Less is better on this. So again, if you're wanting to look for a state agency, you can use that drop down, where it's the drop down name, or you can use the agency number. So like I said, that hub coordinator list, you're learning the state agencies, you're learning their agency number. You can come in and put their agency number. Then you can change that box where it says status. And right now it says posted. Posted means they're active. They're open. You can go in, you can view that solicitation details, you can submit your proposal to that state agency or local government or university. If it says closed means that it's done. You can no longer submit your information, that all bids are done, they're doing the reviewing process, evaluation process. Awarded means that that contract has been awarded to a contractor or to a vendor. So it has the details of who's awarded the contract, and then how much. Most of the times it'll show you how much that contract was awarded for. And then you also have the option to select all. Usually when I talk to people when they use the keyword search, if you're using the keyword search and you're not finding anything, I always change the status to select all. This system right here is really good when you're doing your research. If you're wanting to know what state agency is using your services, like real estate, you can go in, you can put real estate in here, you can change the status to select all, and then now you're knowing what state agencies are you looking for real estate services. Let's say, for instance, you're using your NIGP codes. You can go over here, put one of the NIGP codes in, then change the status, search, and then now you're finding what state agencies are using that NIGP code. So it's really good for, like I said, researching what state agency you're wanting to do business with as well. Let's say, for instance, if you're receiving bid solicitations through your email, you can go here, usually if you click on the link, it takes you straight to the ESPD. But if you don't, you can always use that that solicitation ID number. You can come in and you can put that solicitation ID number to pull up that solicitation. But like I said, less is better on this system, because again, if you put in everything, I'm just gonna say, you're probably not gonna find anything. But if you use maybe 2 boxes, you'll be able to find more on this system. Okay, then again, this just shows you how to find it. So again, up there at the top, you have how you can find this system. You can click on the bid postings, or you can go to the application, SPD application, do view ESPD postings, and it pulls up the ESPD daily search. Right here, we decided to use the agency name. Really, this is the local government. We pulled up the local government name, we did a search, and then we're able to find the solicitation. Once you click on the solicitation, it pulls up the meats and potatoes of the solicitation. Okay. Next, we're going to go on to the CMBL, which is the Centralized Master Bidders List. We'll talk about the benefits and then what you can do to get registered. Okay. So the Centralized Master Bidders List is the state's official procurement vendor list. It's a $70 annual fee to be added to the list. Just think about it, it's a cup of coffee a month. Starbucks at that. Get registered for it. Usually we tell hub vendors, usually sign up for it just to see the opportunities that come your way by being signed up. Because the hub certification, again, that's free. That's only if a state agency is looking for you for those hub procurements. If they're not looking for hub procurements, they're going to go to the CMBL and they're sending all the vendors on the CMBL those procurements. So that's why it's good to sign up for both. And we'll show you the difference of that shortly as well. Again, certification is not required to be on the CMBL. So if you do not qualify, you can sign up for the CMBL and still be able to do business with the state. Anyone outside of the state of Texas, so any state can sign up. Any company outside of the U.S. So Africa, Canada, they can sign up and they can do business with the state as well. The state purchasers are required to search the CMBL and hub directory listing, which we'll show you shortly. Vendors are responsible for registering and creating their profile with accurate contact information and completing the NIGP code. We usually talk to hub vendors itself. We tell them to make sure that your profile is up to date. Because what happens a lot of times, we send out those bid opportunities and we get bounce backs. Meaning that their email was maybe registered under Betty. Betty was the assistant. Now Betty's no longer there. Betty emails getting all the bid opportunities, and John's like, why are we not getting those bid opportunities? Because it's under Betty's email. So going in and maybe putting a general email account or making a email for those bids, so you know you're not missing out on those bid opportunities. Also going in, like I said, making sure your business description describes your business, what you are getting paid for, your taxes, your services. That's what your business description should be. And then those NIGP codes should back up that business description. So again, those NIGP codes should be the codes that applies to the services and commodities that your company provides. Okay, let's talk about the state agency bid posting threshold. So again, this is how our state agency and purchasers use this. I do want to point out that state agencies and universities thresholds are different. So if you are wanting to use a university or connect with a university, contact them and ask them what their thresholds are, because they are a little different from what state agencies are. And I would like to point out DIR, which is the Department of Information Resources, which is the technology state agency. Their thresholds are a little differently as well, because they are the ones that create our statewide contracts, so they do get some type of, their procurements are a little different as well. But most state agencies, I'm going to say most, because universities are not included and some state agencies are not included, but most state agencies, procurement opportunities up to $10,000, they don't have to do any big competitive bidding. They can contact you directly and do business with you, ask you for your information, your quotes, different things like that, and do business with you without going to another vendor. So again, that's where the hubs come in at. They want to do business more with hubs for those opportunities under $10,000, because they know that those hub businesses or small businesses, they can only do so much. So any procurement opportunities from $10,000 to $25,000, state agencies are required to solicit a minimum of 3 vendors registered active on the CMBL, and then 2 of the 3 vendors solicited through this process are required to be hubs. So any procurement from $10,000 to $25,000, they only need to find 3 vendors that are active on the CMBL, and 2 of them must be hub certified. So again, from $10,000 to $25,000, only 3 vendors have to be contacted. So any procurement over $25,000, now state agencies are required to send notice of the procurement opportunity to all vendors registered on the CMBL, and that's by the NIGP code that they're procuring. So again, if they're procuring, let's say they're looking for a painting or painter or something within that services, they'll identify that NIGP code, they'll go to the CMBL, they'll put in that code, and they'll find all the vendors that provide that service, and then they're to solicit the bid opportunity to all of those vendors. So again, there's no minimum. They have to send it out to everyone. And then any procurement over $25,000, they also have to post it on the ESPD as well, which we talked about before. So depending on that procurement, like we stated before, there is some different requirements when they're doing their competitive bidding. And then I did want to point out, I know we don't have subcontracting opportunities, but subcontracting opportunity is any procurement over $100,000. It's up to that state agency and university to determine if they want to use subcontracting opportunity or not. Okay, so for the CMBL, I do want to point out, this is how it looks. This is how our purchasers find you. Yes.
So, backing up to that previous slide, in reference to the securing X number of bids, the advantage for those individuals who are sending out those bid offers, they receive points, am I correct, with the state that they're working with a hub or something like that? So it's to their advantage to work to find a hub or?
So, working with the hubs is all good faith effort. There's no points, there's nothing like that, it's all good faith effort. And then when they go through, if you submit your proposal, now it does go through, the evaluation, but there's no points or anything associated with that. Everything that process is going through a good faith effort.
So what's just to help a hub get a piece of business that typically they would not maybe have the opportunity, what's the incentive for them to do that much work to find a hub to do business with when they can probably open the front door, see XYZ contractor right across the street and get it done one and done?
It just depends on the amount of the procurement. So if they know that, if it's a procurement where they know that, okay, we can find hubs that can probably procure and do these services or get these items, then they can reach out more to those hubs and do more business with those hubs.
What's the advantage for them to do that? That's more work on their part, right?
Well, again, everything's through a good faith effort, so it's up to that state agency to exceed and meet those hub requirements where we talked about with those goals.
Okay.
So the goals that we talked about earlier today, the commodities, the construction, they want to meet those goals. That's the point, is to meet those goals and exceed those goals. So if they're doing a construction project, they're wanting to find hubs when it comes to a particular procurement to make sure that they're meeting those goals and exceeding those goals. But again, everything is through a good faith effort.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so back to the CMBL. This is how they search for hubs and CMBL vendors. So let's say, for instance, if they're wanting to come in and look for just a hub vendor, they will click the bubble that says hubs only. If they're looking for CMBL vendors, so let's say it's not a hub procurement, they can just click on the CMBL only and find vendors on CMBL only, or they can click on the hubs on CMBL to find both. Well, only hubs on the CMBL, so for you, sir, they will be able to find your company, and then they can find all vendors, so hubs and CMBL vendors, if they select the all vendors. So they can do a single vendor search. So let's say, for instance, you connected with a state agency or university, and they want to verify that you are a hub certified vendor. They can go into the single vendor search right here. They can put in your company's name. They will click on the hubs only, and they will search, and it will pull up your profile. And then from your profile, it will give you all the information that they need. It'll tell them if you're active for your hub certification. It will let them, it identifies the NIGP codes that you have for your profile. It identifies the highway districts, and then also that business description that they look at as well. So it gives them all that details when they look up the hub. Now, again, we talked about it earlier today, where some people think that since they're on the CMBL, that they think they're hub certified. No, this system is just to search for hubs or for CMBL. It's not searching for, because people think, oh, I'm on the CMBL, I'm hub certified. No, the systems talk to each other, but there is this directory where it does point out the difference, where if a purchaser is looking for hubs only, if you have your hub certification, it's only going to pull up them hub certified vendors. Now, if you're not hub certified, they do the CMBL only, and it's going to pull up all the vendors that are on the CMBL, whether you are hub certified or not. You're on the CMBL, you register, you pay that $70, it's going to pull you up. So again, this is how they'll find you if you are connecting with a state agency and they want to verify if you're hub certified or if you're on the CMBL. Now, let's say, for instance, their procurement, they're looking for someone for landscaping, like I said earlier today. They will identify the NIGP code for that landscaping service, and then they'll apply that NIGP code in the section right here. Now, it's up to that state agency to identify if they were looking for vendors within their highway district, like they're looking for this highway district, where it's NAC, Lufkin, Tyler area, or the whole state of Texas. So if they left this blank, it will be the whole state of Texas, and it will pull up all the vendors within the state of Texas with that NIGP code. Or if they do that highway district, like I said, then they will only find vendors within that highway area. And then once they search, it will pull up multiple vendors where they can send out their information for that bid opportunity. It's good for hubs as well, so let's say for instance, they are looking for hubs to do procurements with, they'll use that NIGP code as well to find hubs. So that's why usually to our hubs, it's very important to make sure you have NIGP codes. It's good to have your certification, yes, when you're connecting with them, because they can search you and verify that you are the hub, but if they're looking for you for those services by NIGP codes, they will not be able to find you. They will only be able to find you if you build that connection with them and been able to network with them. Okay, so next we're going to talk about NIGP codes. And again, you can find that the commodity book over here on our website if you need to find more details. There is 3 different ways to find it. We'll talk about that shortly. But the NIGP codes is the National Institute of Governmental Purchasing Codes. Again, state agencies and universities, they use NIGP codes. If you use federal contracts, they might use NAS codes. That's not what we use. We use NIGP codes, which is similar. Purchasers use these class item codes to describe the products or services they search to purchase. This ensures that a good faith effort is given to hubs through formal and informal bid opportunities. Bidders are encouraged to include the NIGP codes that best describes the products or services the business provides in vendor profile, and it is extremely important to both state agencies and potential bidders that NIGP code selections are correct. So like we stated earlier today, you'll find a lot of vendors on the CMBL that they'll select all the NIGP codes that we have just to receive a hit or to receive a solicitation, but that solicitation goes towards nothing that they actually do. A lot of times our state agencies will call them and say, hey, I looked at your profile and I'm looking for you. I noticed that your business has landscaping, but you have all these other NIGP codes. Can you please let me know what services you provide? And they're like, oh, well, I only do landscaping. Then why did you select that you do consulting services and these other services when you only do landscaping? Well, just because I want to hit. Well, that's not how it works. So again, when you do the NIGP codes, you want to make sure you're searching for the codes that only apply to your business and the services and commodities that your business provides. It's very important. Alright, so this is how our commodity book search looks like. Usually when you look at the commodity book, there's 3 different ways you can get these codes. There's a downloadable file where there's over 4,000 codes, and you'll have to go through those codes one by one to look and see exactly what codes applies to you. I would like to point out, when you're looking at these codes, any code from 0 to 800 or under 900 would be commodities, which is our products. Any code that's over 900 would be a service. And we'll talk about that shortly so you can see what I'm talking about. I just want to point that out as well. Then you have the class code search, where I think there's 999 class item codes. And then from there, they're in alphabetical order from 0 to 900, where the products are broken down. And then anything over 900, when it starts with the services, is in alphabetical order as well, so you can find those services a little quicker as well. Then you have the keyword search, where you can come in, and then this is a quicker, faster way to find those codes, where you can actually put in the search keywords painting, hit search, and then you're able to find those commodity codes. And again, like I said earlier, any code from 0 to 800, well, anything below 900 would be a product, a commodity, and then any code above 900 would be a service. So for you to understand the difference from those codes when you're selecting those codes. And then again, this is just painting. What you want to do, sometimes you want to use different words, different keywords when you're doing your search as well. So not only using painting, but doing paint. So let's say, for instance, your services you provide is painting, but you also have a business where you sell paint. Now you want to go back and put paint in, and now you want to look at those commodity codes as well. Let's talk about consulting. You put consulting in, you'll find a lot of different codes. You want to make sure that you're applying all those consulting codes that applies to your business. Now sometimes you'll find 1 or 2, but I mean, just look at what your business really does, and then make sure you have those codes. So if there are different codes that you feel that, okay, this is in my business description, it's just a little different, by that NIGP code, the description, you still kind of want to put that as well. Another thing is sometimes you'll look at these codes. I know staffing is a really good one. If you put staffing in, you won't find any NIGP code. But using a different word like professional or personnel, different keywords, you'll be able to find some codes. So just in case if you are searching and you don't find anything, just use a different generic word or a different word, keyword to find those codes. All right. Then we have the highway district. So again, highway district, you look over here, you have the state of Texas broken down to 25 highway districts. Basically, they are counties, a group of county and a district. So let's look at your county. I would say maybe you're 17?
We're in
11? Okay, I'm looking for it. So 11, okay, yeah, which is, yep, Nacogdoches, I do see that. Okay, perfect. So again, if, let's say for instance, if Stephen F. Austin is looking for a plumber, again, they would not want to search all the state of Texas for a plumber. They would look only for Highway District 11 and then put in that NIGP code for plumbing services, and then they'll find those vendors, and then they'll be able to contact those vendors for plumbing services. So that's what is important when you put those highway districts. You want to put down the highway districts of the areas you can service. So if you can service all of Texas, then by all means put all of the NIGP codes. But if you only can do a certain area, you can only do the counties in District 10, 11, and 20, then by all means just put 10, 11, and 20. All right, next we're going to talk about the Mentor Protege program. Again, you can find more of that information underneath our vendor resources tab. Okay, so the Mentor Protege program is where mentors are generally a larger company that volunteers to guide and train a Protege Hub certified business to be more successful. We get a lot of this for construction. Let's say, for instance, you might find like Turner Construction, where they do all these different construction services, and then they find a small business like a hub vendor who maybe provides those same services as Turner, and they take them underneath their wing and basically help them, guide them, help them grow their businesses, maybe tell them some tips and different trades that can help them run their business more successful. And then whatever state agency that Turner Construction is maybe has contracts with or maybe have a relationship with, they can go to that state agency and say, hey, I found this company that I want to do a mentor protege agreement with. Will you sponsor us or supervise that mentor protege agreement, and that state agency will decide yes or no. Or again, it's up to the state agencies. Let's say for instance you're a hub vendor and you're wanting to go into a mentor protege agreement, then that state agency, you will contact that state agency hub coordinator, and that state agency can potentially find a mentor for you. They have a company that does around the same services that you have. They can maybe partner you up for a mentor protege. But again, every state agency and university has a different mission and responsibilities. The hub coordinators and procurement director know the entity's procurement needs best. So again, it just depends. You don't want to go to Health and Human Services for a mentor protege. Well, I'll take that back because Health and Human Services does have construction projects. But let's say for instance, General Land Office again. You don't want to go to General Land Office for construction needs when they don't have those type of projects. So you want to identify the state agency that makes sense to your services and your products to do business with, and ask about a mentor protege agreement. Again, researching the agency and universities and determine which entity buys the products and services you provide to participate. Contact the hub coordinator to request assistance in finding a mentor. All right, so the takeaways and steps for success, you get Hub certified, period. It's free, it doesn't hurt to get it, and then open up some doors for you by contacting those Hub coordinators to be able to have an opening to do business with those state agencies and universities. Again, you can go through us, the Comptroller's Office, or partner with one of our MOAs. Then again, having accurate vendor profile, having those NIGP codes on your profile. They said less is more, again, better. You don't want to have all those NIGP codes that do not apply to your business. And then keep contact information accurate and up to date, especially your email address, because again, that's how they'll contact you most of the time, or your phone number. They'll definitely call you sometimes as well. Again, get registered for the CMBL, which is highly recommended. It's just $70 a year. Hey, just try it once, for a year, just to see the opportunities you might get. Some people, they go and find those bid opportunities on all these different platforms. Why not get them emailed to you? Okay, and then again, those NIGP codes is how they find you to notify you of those bid opportunities. And then it says be proactive. Search the ESBD to view active bids, to do research, for those awarded ones, so you know exactly what state agency you want to do business with, know which state agency is procuring the services and products that your company provides. Research an agency who buys your goods and services. Again, ESBD can help you with that as well. And then maybe considering a mentor-protege agreement. All right, other than that, I think that is it in my presentation. Do anyone have any questions? I know we had it open for questions throughout the presentation, but do anyone have any questions, comments, feedback? Is anyone Hub certified in the room? I know he said he was. Okay, you were too. Great to hear that. Is anyone on the CMBL already? Okay, same ones. Great to hear. Has anyone heard of the Electronic State Business Levy? Has anyone looked on there to look for bid opportunities?
Heard about it, hadn't searched it though.
Okay. We can work together on that too, because I know, like I said, it'll help you. It'll help you identify those state agencies you can contact for those services as well. And then again, you can look and see exactly who's awarded those contracts and then how much as well. Usually, most of the time, if it's over $100,000, there is the opportunity for subcontracting opportunity, but it's up to that contractor, not that state agency, to be able to maybe partner with you for those opportunities. So building those relationships with those primes. So, and then again, you can also contact those primes about maybe a mentor protege opportunity, so they can go back to that state agency, and maybe that's a way for you to get in with that state agency by that mentor or protege. So now you're connecting with that prime, and you're connecting with that state agency as well. You can get all that information by looking and searching on that ESBD. Okay, well, other than that, oh, yes ma'am.
So this morning I was kind of like preparing for coming today and looking on the CMBL. That was the first time I'd ever heard of it, just kind of did my own research or whatever. And I found several opportunities that, so I provide mental health services, but some of the opportunities didn't really seem to fit with like my business model. Like some of them require that I go to homes to provide services and things like that. And there's a real safety issue for things like that with my business and with my business especially. And so I think my concern and my reservation is that I would go through the steps to be certified, but then all the opportunities are not really a good fit for my business and so do you have a lot of businesses who become HUB certified and then never have one good opportunity that matches what they're looking to do?
It just changed. To be honest, things change all the time. Just for that opportunity right now, it could be that could be the scope of work, but next year it could be different. There's always different things going on within the state where it might change. They might have where, I'm trying to think of a state agency right now. I know Health and Human Services. I know there was there's a mental medical branch. There's other state agencies that might have different scopes of work where they might need your services, not just that particular state agency and what their scopes is. And like I said, procurement, it always changes. That might be what it is right now, but next year it might be different. So that's why it's good to have that certification for 4 years, because things change all the time. You got to think about it. COVID just came in, and then a lot of things changed like that as well. So don't feel discouraged. Right now, that's not what they're looking for those bigger procurements, but if you make that connection with them, and if they are looking for those services, I'm trying to think of who it is. I know there's a state agency on the top of my head, but I just can't get it out right now. But if they're looking for those type of services, they can contact you, again, without being competitive bidding, and they'll be able to do business with you. So it's about building those relationships with those entities, so they can keep you in mind, so when procurements like that comes up, they know automatically they can contact you versus going in and searching for those, hubs and different things like that. So, it just depends, but you never know. And then we have people who get the hub certified and then they don't renew because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to utilize it. Knowing knowledge is key. Knowing what to do, and then marketing yourself. We're just giving you the tools. Now it's up to you to use these tools to market, make those connections, build those relationships with those state agencies. But the biggest thing is researching. Like I said, finding what state agency you can do business with, then going there from there, looking at their different departments that do procurements. Then now you know exactly what department you can work with. Then going to that hub coordinator, sending them your capability statement, following up with them, talking to them, asking them questions where they want to respond, asking them about the meet and greets. Now you know what department you want to meet with, okay? So I know like Workforce Solutions, I always talk to Workforce Solutions, not Workforce, it's the Texas Workforce Solutions, or commissions, I'm sorry, Workforce Commissions. They actually have a daycare department, and when I talk to a lot of people, they're like, oh, I forgot about that. I didn't know that they had. I was like, yeah, they deal with Rising Stars. So when we get a lot of people who want to deal with, children, I always talk about that, or I always talk about the TEA, which is the Texas Education Agency. And they, but I always talk about Texas Workforce Commissions because they do have that daycare department where they work with Texas Rising Stars. And again, you doing your research on those agencies, you can find out those details, and now you know what department you can contact, or what department you want to work with. So when you are building those relationships with those hub coordinators, now you know what department you can go talk to, or procurement opportunities within that department. So again, it's over 175 state agencies. So it's really up to you to go and do your work. Go look it up, go look up each one. You can even look by just looking at the list, you kind of can point out which state agencies you want to do business with. I know the young lady in the back talked about real estate. I told her General Land Office, they secure real estate buildings sometimes for national disasters or if there's any disasters within Texas. And then I know she talked about funeral homes. I was like, okay, well, I know the university systems of the medical branch. I think they go look for those type of services like every 5 years. So again, depending on what the contract is, it might not be good right now, but in 2 to 3 years, it might be good. And then I know a lot of people talk about it when they get hub certified. They might not get a procurement right now, but 18 months from now, when they start building those relationships, they have that opportunity to be able to work with a state agency. It might be a small procurement, but hey, that procurement, that small one, they know, now they know who you are. Now they can come back to you if they have another procurement or maybe a bigger opportunity where they know that you'll be able to assist them with. So never get discouraged. It's just a great way to get open with them. And then from where I am in Austin, Texas. Not only state agencies and universities use the hub certification, we also have the city of Austin that use the hub certification. We also have Travis County that use the hub certification as well. So not for sure if that's something that Nacogdoches use, but also maybe seeing what certifications they might use if you're wanting to do local governments and different things. But it just helps. It just helps you for these agencies and universities to know that you're a small business. You can't do these bigger procurements, only the smaller ones, and then that you're disadvantaged. So they know, okay, we can contact these businesses for these procurements, these services, for these smaller procurements. And then, like I said, there could be 30 other businesses just like yours that's wanting to do business with them as well. So you doing your research, you're going in, searching them, building that relationship with them. Maybe that's something you're doing that these other 30 are not doing. Now it makes you stand out. So when those procurements are coming up, they're contacting you and they can find you. But other than that, does anyone have any questions?
Two quick ones.
Yes.
Municipalities and school districts potentially would fit in those categories, right?
Yes.
For local government.
Local
Yes. So it just depends. You might have to contact their office and see what certifications that they use. So Austin is different because, like I said, Austin, City of Austin use hubs, the county use hubs, or even the Austin ISD use hubs. But that's something just in the city of Austin. Now, in that, you just have to find out exactly what certifications that they use, because again, they're local government. They're not going off of what the state, requirements are. So they might use the SBE or
Skills and all, no one helped me. But I probably could increase whatever knowledge I have with someone who's on the skill level that you are.
So with the hubs, you can contact me, and me, you can have a one-on-one, and we can look at your NIGP codes, we can identify what state agencies. Now, if you're